Hi, my name is Millie Dana. I am going to be 21 years old this August. I grew up in the city. We lived in a quiet, leafy suburban estate of Nairobi. My parents were rich. Every Saturday afternoon, father threw a party. There was an endless flow of beers and wine. He was a big spender and generous, what the French call bon viveur. I remember father coming home at midnight, dead drunk, and I would open the door for him, smiling. At that time, mother was always in a sour mood. I loved father because he never scolded me. I was named after his mother, and he adored his mother. He was jovial and lively when drunk. I never saw his drinking as a problem. I was too young to understand the tension between my parents. I was 10 then. If mother had a long list of complaints about father's drinking habits and women, I could not tell. To me, he was perfect. No flaws, no sin. He had a dark, sensual look many women found irresistible. I loved him too. I inherited father's charm and stubbornness. Whenever my parents disagreed, I instinctively sided with him. I saw nothing wrong with his enjoyment of female company. To me, he was simply living freely. Mother, by contrast, was strict and meticulous, almost obsessively clean. Father was carefree and indifferent to rules. It was easy for me to identify with him. I was young and desperately seeking his love and approval. Even at 10, I dreamed of romance, the kind seen in movies, with a hero like James Bond, sweeping a woman off her feet. Mother was a banker, and father worked for an international firm, so money was never a concern. Father was generous by nature, especially toward beautiful women. He seemed unable to resist helping them. Strange women often knocked at our door at odd hours. Their presence slowly affected mother's health. She suffered from high blood pressure and withdrew from social life, spending most of her time in her bedroom, dignified yet distant. Looking back now, I understand how wealth and indulgence can strain a family, but at the time I was simply a young girl who adored her father. Mother and I were an odd combination. We did not spend much time together. Conversations would start well and then drift into silence. I felt she eyed me coldly. Later, I realized I had misunderstood her pain. I was like an expensive item bought in error, unwanted. Over the years, I grew used to father's excesses. I felt lucky to be rich and fabulous. During dinner, I would not eat unless he ate. I smiled at him, deeply attached. We seldom visited the village. Father claimed I could be bewitched by envious relatives. The village felt dark and primitive. Pit latrines, muddy water, mosquitoes. I hated it. Then mother died when I was 13. She drank rat poison. She left a note saying she had taken her life so father could freely enjoy his beers and women. It was devastating. She was buried without dignity in a hastily built tin house. Villagers mocked us. That day I hated father and hated being born. A month later, father brought home a new woman, Sarah, and everything changed. Looking back now, I understand how wealth and indulgence can strain a family. But at the time, I was simply a young girl who adored her father. Sarah was always throwing parties in the house. Valentine's Day, Christmas, New Year, you name it. There was always food, beer, and loud music. She never lacked company. Her friends, women like her, came frequently. I suspected they either envied her or hoped to snatch father from her. Sometimes Sarah walked around the house naked or lay on the bed with the door open. Other times she wore father's shirt without anything underneath. I burned with disgust. One afternoon, someone knocked at the door while Sarah was asleep. I opened it and found a tall, skinny woman in dark glasses. "Is Sarah in?" She smiled. "Who's Sarah?" "I don't know him," I replied coldly. Before I could close the door, she pushed past me. Soon I heard Sarah shriek with excitement. I hid nearby and listened. They laughed about parties posted on WhatsApp. Wine was poured. Then Sarah bragged. "I have a powerful native doctor. Dave feeds from my palm," she said proudly. My blood ran cold. She planned to bring her clan into our house. I knew then that we were living in danger. That evening, father came home sober, a rare event. He had been promoted and was overjoyed. He announced we would go out for dinner. My excitement faded when Sarah joined us. At dinner, Sarah behaved like a sweet 16 on her first date. They held hands, kissed, and ignored me completely. Father looked enchanted, laughing at everything she said. That night, I dreamed of my dead mother crying in her coffin. I decided something. I would not let Sarah destroy me. At school, I found relief. I attended Europa High School, where nearly half the students were white, and we still outperformed them academically. I loved acting. During the National Drama Festival, I won first runner-up for Best Actress. On stage, as queen, I felt powerful. But off-stage, war awaited me at home. I began to think dark thoughts. If Father would not send Sarah away, maybe I would. I was no crybaby like Mother. I was a fighter, and I was planning something. One evening, I returned from school and found Sarah sitting at the table with her 2 sons and her mother. "My family," she announced proudly. I went straight to my room and cried. Soon the boys settled in. Victor, the older one, was about 14. Edu, the younger, looked slow-witted. I studied them carefully. Under a tree one morning, I began talking to Victor. "Do you smoke?" I asked casually. "Yes, weed," he smiled proudly. He drank busa. He had a girlfriend. He missed village freedom. I listened closely. Victor was my opportunity. I knew the city's dark alleys. Drugs were easy to get. If he wanted to act like a criminal, I could help him become one. That night, I visited his room. "I've brought you a gift," I said. It was only a storybook. He looked disappointed. But I had planted a seed. Victor would soon become my weapon. Gradually, things began disappearing in the house, money especially. Even Sarah's purse was stolen. One day, Victor grabbed her purse openly. "I need money. Go get more from your husband," he shouted. Father found out. A fierce argument erupted. "I don't want your boys in this house," Father shouted. "Victor smokes bang openly." Victor insulted him boldly. "Old man, my mother will get another rich man." The charm was breaking. Sarah's power over Father was fading. Soon Father told her to leave, with her sons. They left in chaos. I stood there, holding a broom like a warrior. The house was ours again. Later, I sat beside Father as he sipped wine. "Next time you want to marry, let me choose for you," I joked. He laughed. Life slowly returned to normal. Sarah was gone, and I had won. Her name was Florence. She was everything I admired, calm, elegant, and self-assured. I now called myself a real woman because I was no longer a teenager. The word loser did not exist in my dictionary. Life had to be bigger than 4 walls. I wanted someone decent, handsome, caring, not a drunkard or a womanizer. As a child of 10, I had longed to fall into the arms of a handsome man. I once saw Father as a Greek god, sensual lips, squared jaw, confident eyes. I loved him deeply. But later I learned that loving him that way was wrong. It was taboo. He belonged to Mother. He was my blood. So I began looking elsewhere. The boys I saw in the streets did not impress me. Trousers hanging low, earrings flashing, chewing gum or smoking weed. I wanted a prince charming, a man in a suit, opening car doors, pulling out chairs, ordering fine wine, tipping waiters generously, kissing me goodnight without demanding anything. But that man seemed extinct, and I felt lost in a modern world I did not understand. I often felt like a stranger in Alaska, cold and disconnected. The music, the fashion, the culture, none of it felt romantic. I wanted waltzes and orchestras, not loud rap lyrics and careless swagger. Sometimes I cried into my pillow. My pillow became my silent companion. I turned away from the world of copycats and pretenders. For years I had lived in the shadow of my larger-than-life father. Only after Mother's death did I see his flaws. What kept me sane was the hope that somewhere beyond the mountains lived my prince, a man who would love me truly and take me to a better life. One afternoon I watched Florence dusting the sitting room. "You look beautiful," I told her. "What's your secret?" She laughed. "Like father, like daughter, romantic." We spoke about dating. She did not believe in it. "Love grows," she said. "Falling in love is for school children." When I told her I was still a virgin, she congratulated me. Protect it, she said gently. It is sacred. Her words stayed with me. Florence advised me never to depend on a man financially. Get your own money, she said. Love alone cannot feed you. That statement changed something inside me. The world respects money. Money speaks louder than romance. I did not want to become a poor wife trapped in a slum. Many men only seek pleasure without commitment. A girl must protect herself. I began thinking seriously about wealth. How would I earn my first million? I did not want to sell myself for comfort. I was not cheap. Father once took us to watch a movie at the cinema. I watched him and Florence carefully. He had stopped drinking since meeting her. That alone proved her power. After the movie, a man approached me. "Are you alone?" he asked. "No," I smiled. "I'm with someone." He tried to flirt, but I pointed to Father and said, "There's my husband coming." Father quickly dismissed him. I laughed. I had many admirers before, a footballer, a book lover, but I never surrendered myself. I was the rock of ages, unbroken.